What's going on, everybody? It's Ballin Out once again back at you. Your favorite podcast, as we like to call it. You got Nate, Brant, Sean today, and then we got our guest Isaiah Bufkin, a brother of NBA come up star Kobe Bufkin. Appreciate you hopping on, Zay, of course, as always.
Sir, thanks for having me.
Yeah, bro. Before we get into things though, speaking of Kobe, little bro, got some questions to ask you real quick. How's he just signed a 10-day what was it, last week or so, with the Lakers. Is coming to an end, but I always didn't like the experience, bro. I know you talked to him, so how's things going?
It went well. He met all the guys. He was like, Bron is way more down to earth than he expected him to be. Like, he's still talking to the people. He's still like being a team guy. Like, he doesn't act like he's bigger than the program. Of course, he got some special features because he's Bron. Like, he's talking, he's giving advice, he's doing all that. In the tenure there, we've been good. We defended well. They told us to come play defense. We played a lot of defense, and it was good. He was already in LA. He played for their G League teams. It was a seamless transaction, so it was good. It was a good experience overall.
Yeah.
And his locker right next to Bron. We got to smell the king.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about right there.
That's hype. I can't even lie. That's hype. I'm not the biggest Brown guy, but having your locker next to him, that's cool. I like that. That's cool. So what's G League, he been hooping too. So like what's the outlook right now? We thinking he gonna sign a contract for the rest of the year or what?
That's the goal. Whoever can come get us, that's the goal. But if he can't get a contract by a certain date, then we'll probably end up on a two-way somewhere. I'm still trying to work out the details, see where we want to be, see who got the best fit for us. But the goal is to sign a standardized contract.
For sure.
Probably like the vet minimum by the end of the season, for sure. By the end of, to be honest.
Yeah.
By the beginning of March. That's the goal. So.
No, I like that, bro. I like that. Grant, I know you had a couple questions for him. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah. Did he say, like, 'cause I don't know exactly what all he told you, but, like, did he say, like, what his, like, most surreal moment was going from, like, say, with the Hawks, whatever, not, like, a crazy historical team to kind of transition to the Lakers, kind of? Like, was there any difference just among the NBA organizations? Did he say anything about that?
It's more like there's, of course, when you go to the crowd, now, like you said, you have some celebrities in Atlanta because it's like a hub for a lot of celebrities as well. But the celebrities that be courtside when you at a Lakers game, like the amount of people that's there, like it's a different. And you're with Bron, so he's moving like the king. You got Luka there, he's moving like top 10. You feel me? Supermax guy that he's supposed to be if it wasn't for the Mavericks, but for sure. So it's like he's noticing like a different type of stardom, and like the environment is good. It's healthy. Everybody's honest. Everybody keeps it straight up forward. It's a great organization. Love the Lakers. Even Rob, great guy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, Rob, great guy.
Does he like it in LA? I know it hasn't been too long out there and everything. I don't know if he's got a chance to like visit out there and stuff, but is he enjoying his time out there? Is that somewhere where he can see himself?
He had to stay there because of the G League team. So he had to be in LA. Or he's been in LA since he's been on his G League contract. And it's been great. The city of LA is beautiful. It's amazing. We understand why all the high-profile stars want to go there. Everybody's there. Anything's there. The food's good. It's just nothing like going outside and seeing mountains. It was like 80 degrees the other day, too. We in this Michigan snow. You feel me? We go outside, all we see is white. They see mountains and palm trees. So yeah.
Man. No, that's awesome. That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's hype, though. That's hype. Definitely wish him the best and everything. Hopefully, he got any team, as much as you can share, he got any teams on the radar that, you looking to go to?
Hey, man, to be honest, we're in a position where if it sounds good, we're coming to help. So whoever gives us the best offer, we're ready to go. It doesn't really matter the team. It doesn't really matter. You feel me? Of course, there's a couple that like have reached out, like, you feel me? Like even the Lakers, for example, they reach out, they make sure to stay in contact to see what's going on. But to be honest, whoever comes, we're ready. We're ready.
I like that. Damn, I like that. But yeah, bro, wish him the best. For sure. Maybe one of these days he'll hop on. I know I've asked you before, but I know he's busy with the NBA life and stuff like that.
He wants to be established before he gets to doing all the appearances and all that. He wants to like really be in it. He's not established as he will want to be yet, so he wants to get all the way into that.
Hey, I understand. Locked in, bro. Stand no business. I completely understand. 100%, bro. So yeah. But yeah, bro. Well, let's get into it. Today we're gonna talk about we at the halfway point of the season, just a couple weeks out from the All-Star break. So we're talk about midseason awards and go down the list, give our MVPs and six man, all that stuff throughout the first 43 games of the season so far. Then we got the trade deadline coming up. That's in a couple weeks. February 5th is the deadline. So, obviously it's been some rumors heating up around the league to see who's going to be on the chopping block or whatnot. So, yeah, we'll definitely, talk about that as well. So what y'all want to start with? I'm sure the trades can get a little spicy, but I'm cool with, putting that on the back burner and then getting through these awards first. What y'all thinking?
Yeah, that's about I say let's do the awards.
I bet. So let's start with the awards. We're not going to start with the MVP. Let's start with Rookie of the Year. I think this is all, unanimous for all of us. I know earlier in the season I came with a hot take and said VJ Edgecombe was, right there with Coop, but, VJ kind of came down to earth a little bit, from his streak that he was on at the beginning of the season. But I got Cooper flag for Rookie of the Year. He hasn't been I would say, all out, Showtime, but I mean, he's on the Mavericks who have dealt with a lot of injuries and things like that. He's been put in different positions, basically playing 1 through 5 for him. But that's who I got as my Rookie of the Year vote. So
yeah, I'm with you there too, Sean. I think there was that little stretch where they were playing Coop at point guard, and it was not necessarily fitting his game, just how I think they wanted to. So it was nice to see then when he kind of got more of a rhythm once they were playing him at the 3, and he's clearly, I know, now kind of showing that he will be their number one guy for the next couple, hopefully decade at least. But yeah, no, Coop, I think that'll probably be a unanimous all around.
Yeah, I mean, I got Coop as well, but I want to put some respect too on Knupple's name. He's also been hooping. I think he's somebody that should get some looks this year as well. At the end of the day, I think Flag's been more consistent overall. I mean, averaging a solid 18, 5 and 5. It seems like it's just you just know kind of more what you're going to get with him. I know he's had a couple injuries just as of late, but other than that, stay on the court, been healthy.
I mean, he averages more. They average the same stats. Coop has a bigger role. But I understand all the hype behind Coop. He was the number 1 pick. He was that, so he's probably going to get most of the buzz. So he'll probably win it. But I think people should start paying more attention to Khan. He deserves. He's one of those top rookies. He deserves.
He's definitely been hooping.
Yeah, he averages 19. He averages more. He averages 19 a game. You know what I mean? He averaged 19, 5, and 4 basically. So he's right there with Coop in the stats. But like I said, he was the number 5. Coop was the number 1, and Coop's been the hype train forever. I think it's going to be Coop, but I wish Khan could get as much exposure for what he was doing down there in Charlotte, because he's doing a good job over there.
And if somehow, some way, Charlotte makes the play-in or something, I definitely think, he should at least get, a little bit more recognition, at least, towards, helping out that squad, or for sure, because he been a flamethrower. He's had some hot games here and there, but yeah, like you said, to your point, Zay, I think just, it's the number 1 pick versus the number 5 pick, and he's been a little bit more of a bigger name, slam dunks and things of that matter. Obviously, yeah, Coop is probably gonna get that. So yeah. Most improved player. I'm interested to see who y'all got for this. My pick is Jalen Duren. The stats may not show it as wide just because it's been pretty consistent. His as long as rebounds and stuff. But I mean, scoring is a 6-point jump. He's averaging a double-double, looking like an all-star this year, shooting 63% from the field. It's a little bit lower than last year, but I definitely think, he's number 1 team in the conference. I definitely think he should get some love, as far as being a most improved player right there. So
I had another Jalen. I had Jalen Johnson for Atlanta. I think he's been hooping, about 23 and 8 assists. Clearly, Atlanta is making him their top priority now. He's kind of shown. I know he's had a couple rough games just in the last week or two, but I think just the other night he had 28 and 16. And I mean, he's been pretty consistent for them, averaging close to a triple-double for him when he's on. So I think he'll probably get an all-star nod, and then we'll see, though. I like Duren, though. I like that pick.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely did. I definitely like Duren for sure. A little hometown cooking, of course. I'm watching them a little bit more than most other teams, I should say. But yeah, Jalen John, I mean, we were talking about him last podcast too, and just how good he's been, kind of how much of a standout player he's been this year. And I won't beat the dead horse. Nate kind of already said most of it, but he's just been balling this year, like 23 points, 8 assists. That's a stud right there. And so compared to his numbers last year, I forget exactly what the number increase is, but he's a stud, and he's proven it out there for the Hawks.
Yeah.
Y'all going with the big boys. I want a guard. I want my boy Keontae. He been hooping. Keontae's been hooping. He got an 8-point jump. He went from 16.8 to 24 this year. He's made the Jazz lively. They're a fun watch. They're not a good team yet. They still are very young. They don't really got no like structure as they need yet because they don't got no real vets. But as a player, like he went from 16.8 last year. He jumped up to 25 a game pretty much. Leading the team. He might be a reserve on an all-star team if he can get that nod. Like he went from, and it's only his third year, so the jump was huge.
Just had 43.
Just, you feel me? Just had 40 the other night. He's only on the ups as well. Like the Jazz are a fun to watch now. I don't know if you guys ever tuned into a Jazz game, but they're a real fun watch. Just seeing the young guys, Ace, Bryce, all of them go out there. They play a good brand of basketball. They playing hard, and I think they're gonna find an identity within the next 2 years here. So I got Keontae. Yeah. He's just been a stud this whole year for them. Just a staple. Right after Lurie, he's competing with Lurie to be the best player on that team now. So yeah.
But yeah, Keontae George, I like that one. He has been hooping. He's just watching him play, like he has becoming like one of my favorite players. I wouldn't say like favorite players, but like he's somebody that I'm becoming a fan of, for sure.
He's a fun watch.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Damn, that's a good one. Go coach real quick. Coach of the year, another guy to keep it home, JB Biggerstaff. I mean, come on, the turnaround that they've had, he's got to be. I understand if you say Mark Daigneault just because OKC is OKC, but I mean you got to look at it. Last year we were the 6th seed. The year before that, was terrible, worse in the league. So what he's done in the past 1.5, 2 seasons, man, he's got to be, coach of the year. So
yeah, I'd second that, Sean. That's who I had for mine. I had second Mitch Johnson for the Spurs. I think they have done a great job. I know their roster is a little bit healthier this year. He was a real close second for me. But it probably will be between either JB or Mark for that coach of the year.
Yeah, I obviously like you guys' picks. I figured we're gonna have a couple of the same things within here, so I'm gonna switch up everything completely. I'm gonna give Joe Mazzulla a little bit of credit, just keeping that Celtics team together. To be honest, if we were talking about the same Celtics team we are now, like back then, we all basically had them almost out of the playoffs, borderline, like. Obviously, give Jaylen Brown his credit and everything. I also got to give Joe Mazzulla his flowers too. He keeps the team together. They got a good record. They're still competing in the East, believe it or not. I thought they were just gonna be tanking for a good draft pick. No, they're still hooping. On course for a championship. Again, talking championships a little bit much, but again, Joe Mazzulla, I think, got to give him some credit just to even be in the same spot that they are with losing everything that they lost in the offseason.
Yeah.
I like that pick. I like that pick a lot. And their team is not the best, if we're being honest.
They're not.
I did say, by the way, run the tape, Sean, they were going to make the playoffs. I did say that back in my preseason pick. I told you. Because I take it back.
Zay was saying it. Zay was saying it. We was not. But he was.
Run the tape. But yeah, I got JB. Mark, of course, OKC is what they are. He won it last year. If they would have, I believe if they would have did the record like everybody was on the hype train in the beginning, if they would have been close to the 72 win record, 73 win record, I guess now, he would have been a shoe-in for it. But now that it's closer, and now that the Pistons are number 1 in the East, and they're 2 games behind, to be honest, I believe that I will give it to JB off the strength of 1, voter fatigue. Mark got it last year. Move around, Mark. 2, it's the home team. Home team, always going to root for the home team. 3, it's the Pistons in the number 1 seed, which nobody saw coming ever. Especially like Sean said 2 years ago, worst team in the league. You feel me? So I believe I will give it to JB. He got the Pistons rolling. They're a title contender to go to the championship in the East. Nobody ever saw this for the Pistons. And if you would have said that 5 years ago, nobody would have believed you. So I'm going with JB as well.
Bro, you just gotta think about it, like where we was. I mean, 5 years ago, the Pistons, they was, Killian Hayes days, bro. We all know about that.
Yeah, that's
That was
not
terrible.
great. Not great.
So so to be talking like we the number one seed right now it's definitely huge. So I like that. Six man, and then we'll go to MVP real quick. Six man. I couldn't give a six man, but before he got into things, Grant mentioned Anthony Black. I kind of like Anthony Black, so that's just my shoe-in vote right now. But what else y'all got?
I know, yeah. This might be kind of a controversial. I know I talked about him a little bit earlier this year, but I had AJ Mitchell on my short list for six man. I think he's done a great job on that OKC squad. I mean, I know they're deep as it is on their bench, but they've had some injuries with Hartenstein and some other guys, and I think he's been a real good pick me up on their bench offensively. And he plays hard. I think he kind of does a lot like what a guy like Anthony Black does in terms of like playing his role real well. But yeah, that's one of the guys I had on mine if it wasn't going to be someone like Anthony Black.
Yeah,
I like that.
I agree with Anthony Black. It's just I don't know. Right at the moment, like as it stands when we're recording, of course, he's not over the limit for games started, but who knows there. But if it's not for him, I'm gonna go with the trusty Naz Reid, the one and only man himself. He's just a dog. I don't know if I gotta really say anything more about it. I mean, you just kind of know what you're gonna get from him. It's kind of like a Lou Will kind of guy off the bench. It's just like he's not like anything generationally great, but man, you just know what you're gonna get. And he's kind of just like filled into that role. I think personally, every time at least I've watched him play. So I'll give the read or the nod to him.
Was in the same boat as Sean, but I didn't know nobody was gonna say his name, so I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I'm gonna give it to Jaime. He's been leading that second unit on the Heat. The Heat are a playing team right now. They could probably get in. They can get in there if Orlando keeps being not healthy. They are injury away, so I believe they can get in that playoff spot. And Jaime leads that second team. He's the point of attack, to be honest. Averages 15 a game. I know that the Heat have switched their style of play so that they don't run a lot of screens. So they do, when the bench comes in, he does a lot of post-ups. He does a lot of drive and ISO work. I give it to Jaime. 15 a game. Great man to have off your bench.
I like that.
I respect that one. He's good. He's a stud.
Yeah.
He gets played. Yeah. He's just a bucket
like
getter is what he is. And
especially, in down moments like, Norman Powell's been hurt. Tyler Hero, he's been in and out. Bam, consistent season. So it's just like, Jaime has been kind of that guy to pick up and, lead that the Miami Heat teams. We'll definitely see. All right, MVP. I'm not going to go first because my MVP votes, I don't have like a official one. I got three guys that I think should get the one, but somebody else start MVP off. I can't start it off. No.
I'm starting off for you.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Let me start off. Me personally, I'm going to say Cade. He's leading the Pistons. He doesn't really have a secondary scoring option. Like Jalen Duren, he gets buckets, he gets his putbacks and all that, but like he doesn't really have another perimeter player who's like a consistent 20 a game. Like he has Tobias. We know we're familiar with Tobias's inconsistencies. But so I'm going with Cade. He doesn't really, the difficulty of it was not having that reliable second option scorer versus Shea, who I know a lot of people vote for, which is respectable. 30 a game, number one best record in the whole NBA. That's Shea. He got it last year. He's probably deserving of it again. But he has Chet and J-Dub to go along with him. And you'll go over the Piston sides, it's Cade and a bunch of dogs, a bunch of hounds. He's averaging 26 a game, 26 and 10. He averages 26 and 10. Cade is the pulse of the team. Without Cade, it's hard for them. I'm going with Cade.
You say hounds? You say a bunch of hounds? Is that what I heard?
Cade and a bunch of hounds. Just a bunch of dogs.
I love that. We got some hounds, man. Let's go. I can go next here. I'm going to give it to SGA. And I love the whole reasoning and everything behind Cade. I think that's great. I just think there's something to be said, too, about being on the best team, but like standing out and being the best player on the best team by, I'd say, not like head over shoulders, but there's a good distance still between SGA and, I mean, who would you say the Thunder's second best player would be? J-Dub, Jet. I mean, even then, you got argument for it there. I think SGA is so much of a better player, and to be the best player on the best team, putting up the numbers you did last year when winning the MVP, regardless of the voter fatigue or whatnot after, because it's going to be the same for a couple of years if he keeps hooping like this. But I think at the end of the day, the man deserves it. The man deserves it. And I think personally this year, I think he does. At the moment, that is, I should say.
Yeah, Grant, I'm agree with you. I know earlier in the year I mean, and it might come down to the last couple games because I don't know if Jokic will get that 65, game requirement. But if he doesn't, then I think it'd probably go to Shea. Back-to-back MVP. I think he'd be like the fifth or sixth guy now to do that in the last couple years. You and Zay said they got the best record in the NBA right now, but it'll come down to the last couple games of the season, I think, for sure.
Yeah, I agree. So y'all all kind of mentioned everything that I was gonna say, but here's why I said I can't give a clear one. Because of Jokic, the 65 game rule. He was, my vote. But it's the whole, injury thing, so I don't think he's gonna get it. So this is why, and then you mentioned, voters fatigue with SGA, which is, another reason why I'm like, all right, yeah, if he does, get it back to back, then all right, fair. But I feel like, they would have had the best record, and beat the record, got 73 wins. I think he would have had a little bit more towards, getting the MVP. But then, Zay, you mentioned Cade, Cade hooping, number one seed, in the East, right up there with OKC, the best team in the league. So, like, that, they got, both of those two, it's like a back and forth between me. SGA got the more points, but like you said, like, Cade don't really have, like, a secondary scorer, 20-point scorer, things like that. So then comes in, you mentioned, the Celtics earlier. So then comes in Jaylen Brown. The way he's been hooping lately, averaging 29, 6, and 4. I mean, he's looking like an MVP type of candidate. So he's one of those other guys that it's like, yeah, they were supposed to have a down year, but he, stepped up and is leading the team, and he's doing it on both ends, being strong on the defensive end, guarding your best player, and dropping 30 on your head. So it's like, definitely got to give respect to that. So that's why I was like, it's really like a three-way tie for me. If Jokic isn't going to make the games, it's a three-way tie between SGA, Cade, and Jaylen Brown. So I really think it's definitely, like you said, Nate, it's going to come down to the final day of the season. Just because, I mean, all three of those guys have legitimate arguments. And then you got to put in the, Jokic. If Jokic somehow comes back, in time where, okay, he plays just enough, 65 games, then it's like, all right, with the historic season he was having before he got hurt, that's another guy that you got to put in there. So, yeah, it's tough. I can't really give like a clear like MVP candidate. I don't think it's like as easy as it was last year, with SGA. But yeah, it's a tie for me right now. So, well, I like the answers. I like K. I like SGA. They both have the resumes to show for it. But I think Jaylen Brown, you got to put respect on his name, man. He definitely deserves it. So yeah, no, I like that. I like that. So as we said, the trade deadline is coming up. We got about a couple weeks here till the trade deadline is ending, and it's going to be a lot of moves. As we saw, the other day, Jimmy Butler torn ACL, RIP. So he's out for the season. So Golden State trying to figure some things out. John Morant, he possibly could be on the move. Anthony Davis. So we're going to go around to give trades that we think, could happen. Either think or trades that we want to see happen, and I think this would be kind of fun and seeing what all y'all got. So Zay, I'm gonna start with you, bro. What trade you got cooking up?
This one, I'm gonna go. I got both of mine are kind of big.
Okay.
It's not like a minimal trade to improve a team because we know like the MPJs of the world, he can improve Warriors, he can improve a Pistons. I want to go complete overhaul. I'm a Warriors fan. They're both my teams. Both my trades are coming from my team. One of them is the Cavs. I'm doing the Warriors and Cavs. So first one, I'm gonna go with the Warriors trade, complete overhaul. I believe get rid of Jimmy because of his expiring contract and he's injured. He's going to be old. We don't know what Jimmy 35 is going to look like after an ACL injury. You know what I mean? And then Kuminga, he still has to go. Just because Jimmy went down doesn't mean all of a sudden everything is mended. So I believe we send Jimmy, Kuminga, and a pick if necessary for Zach LaVine and Malik Monk. I think we go to the Kings. Yeah, we go to the Kings. They've been trying to get off. They're trying to blow it up. They want expiring contracts, and they want Kuminga. They're trying to blow it up. They're not trying to win. and they want some picks. But I don't know if we should give them picks. I believe Malik Monk is a phenomenal player. Come off your bench, easy 6-man of the year candidate, easy 15 a game. Zach LaVine, he's an all-star. He's going to give you that pop. If you can get him to buy in to what you guys got going on, I think he'll make them significantly better. And him and Steph next to each other as an offensive tandem would be amazing. We've tried the defensive route. We got all defenders. We don't have anybody to help Steph score. So I believe that brings in the scoring that you would need. It'll put a lot on Draymond for defense. I know we play a good team defense. We always have. But I believe with those two, if we can get them to buy in, we go get them, we get younger, and then potentially get a big in the buyout market. So that's my first one.
I like that. I'm not even gonna lie. Because like you said, they do need that secondary scorer, and Malik is rotting in Sacramento. Like he getting DNPs, coaching decisions. And Zach LaVine, I don't know why he decided to go to Sacramento in the first place, but he needs to get out of Sacramento because they're not going to do anything, So, I didn't even think about that. That's a good trade. And plus, like you said, Kuminga, the Kings have been talking about wanting Kuminga. They was doing that this summer. So, you can finally get him and build around him too. So, I like that.
And if we got to go GP in there to make the money right, throw him in there.
Yeah. Yeah. Shoot. That's not bad. Let's start off with a bang. Let's start off with a bang. I like that. We're going to come back around for your second one.
I got you.
What you got?
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I can't believe I got to follow that. That was... I don't got picks. I just got a guy I want to see finally get moved out. I just think it's time to move on. We've already talked about him before, or at least I've talked about him. One of my hot takes. I said Anthony Edwards, as long as he's playing for the Timberwolves right now, he ain't winning nothing. It don't matter. And I don't think the Timberwolves are going to get anybody in there. They've proven that once they got Rudy in there, that they were not going to be a championship team forever. So I think you got to move him out of there. And some teams I'd like to see potentially, like the Heat are always a team that everyone wants to go to. I think now could be a time. I was going to say the Warriors, but now at this point, Zay has just completely talked me out of everything besides that trade happening. So I'm going to rescind that one. But I'm going to keep the Miami one on the table. I think they need to get him out of there. And I think at some point, or maybe even I think at some point, Heat got to get Anthony Edwards. And if you can get Giannis on that same team, basically start a whole other team and get things cooking with just those two. Yeah,
hold on.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
You saying the Heat got to get Anthony Edwards and Giannis?
That's what I'm saying. At some point, you got to get them, yeah.
Okay.
Is Bam still on the team? Bam and Tyler Hero, they still on the team when they gone?
They're gone.
No, you blowing everything up, bro. You blowing everything up. You pulling the Beatles again, but you're only doing it with two. You only need two of them. You only need two of them, and you're good. I don't know how it works. I didn't really get that far. I didn't think we were doing all that until Zay cooked up picks. He said, I was not as prepared for this, but at the end of the day, this all goes back to my hot take with Anthony Edwards. Specifically, Giannis would just be obviously a nice piece, no shit. But Anthony Edwards, I think he needs to get moved out from the Timberwolves. I think it's just time. I don't think they're going to win a championship. I've been very blunt about that. And I think at this point, it's not a bad option to look at getting them out of there, look at getting some good pieces, and start kind of truly actually moving on since you got Rudy Gobert on the team.
That would be
that's too
be
crazy
crazy.
right there.
Yeah, I mean, the Giannis thing was a bit much. The Giannis was a bit much. Just kind of threw that one out there. But Anthony Edwards is a guy that seriously I think needs to get moved out of the Timberwolves. I've said this before on the other pods, so I won't go on the whole tangent here. I just don't think he's going to get it done in Minnesota. I think at the end of the day, you can get a lot for Anthony Edwards still these days. I know people will definitely be willing to give something. I just like to see. I don't think anything's out there. I don't think anything's in the rumblings. It's more just something I'd personally like to see.
I like that. Nate, let's hear it, bro.
So I had a couple different ones. They're not really league shifting at all, but I was watching that Cavs game Monday against the Thunder, and they lost by 30. So I was like, I gotta cook up something for the Cavs just because they desperately, I think, need to change it up a little bit. So I had Jared Allen and a future first-round pick going to the Pelicans for Herb Jones and Jordan Hawkins. Getting a guy like Herb Jones would definitely help them out a little bit more. I know the Cavs too. They'll probably end up either doing something. I've heard some things about DeAndre Hunter wanting out, but I just feel like Jared Allen, he's kind of like that odd man out with that squad right now. I mean, they've been dealing with DG in and out the lineup, which hasn't helped. But he just really hasn't had that consistent, I think, spacing that he needs, playing alongside Mobley too. But I would just like to see, and it's not really two teams that are, probably thinking that they're going to make it to the Eastern or Western Conference Finals this season, but it kind of sets them up a little bit for next year and going into the future. So that was one little small trade I had, but it's two teams that I want to see make some moves for sure.
Yeah. Zay, what's your thoughts about that? Because Cavs your team. What's your thoughts? And you had a Cavs trade too, so let's hear your Cavs trade too. And after your analysis.
Yeah, I like that because I also believe we need to get off Jarrett because I believe at some point we have to realize we can just slide down Evan to the 5. Evan can simply just play the 5. He's going to anchor your defense. He's going to bring a lot to the table. Evan should be a perennial all-star. So I believe you free up the paint for him a little bit so he doesn't have to be such an outside player all the time due to him and Jared Allen being at the same time. I believe that works wonders for us. So I'm not mad at Jared getting off Jared Allen either. My trade was to give up Darius because I like Darius. He's a great player, but I don't think, especially in the way the league's trending, that you can have two small guards at your helm anymore. Him and Donovan at the helm of your offense is too easy to attack. Every guard is 6'4" and above at this point. So I believe get off him. I was sending him to the Kings. Kings was because Kings trying to get out of a lot of contracts. I was going to send him to the Kings. I don't know if the Kings would do this. They probably wouldn't because they just paid him as well. But I was sending Darius to the Kings for Keegan. Why? Because I wanted a secondary move to get Jared Allen out of there. But the first move would be get Keegan. He can play good size, space the floor. He can play the 4. Get him out of there. So then when we get rid of Jarrett, now you got Keegan at your 4, Evan at your 5, Donovan at the helm, and then we can go from there. You got Max Strus when he gets back, probably at the 2, 6'8". Now you have a good size and you have good spacing while also being able to defend at a good level. So that was mine. Send Darius for Keegan, and it's probably going to be a pick that needs to get sent in there somewhere, and then we go from there.
That's solid. And both of those, like you said, they both fulfill the Cavs' needs because I don't know what the Cavs need to do, honestly. I've said it multiple times. They're a regular season team. They're not going to do anything in playoffs. Second round at best. So I think that they're gonna end up blowing it up. This year if they don't end up doing anything anyways. So yeah, might as well try to get a head start at it. Whether it be trading Jared Allen or Darius Garland. While you can. So yeah. So my trade is a 3-team trade. It deals with a couple of people that have been in the trade rumors, right? So start with the Golden State Warriors, Jonathan Kuminga, right? He's been somebody, I don't know if he still wants to be there now that Jimmy's hurt or whatnot. Okay, so you got Golden State, you got the Detroit Pistons, who are kind of looking, possibly they're saying that they don't want to make a big splash, but everybody knows that they need something, right? So it's just, what is it going to be? And then we got the Brooklyn Nets in there. Obviously, Michael Porter Jr. has been in the rumblings to, go to either one of those teams. So there we go. You got the Detroit Pistons receiving Jonathan Kuminga from the Golden State Warriors. The Brooklyn Nets getting Jimmy Butler and Karis LeVert. And then Golden State gets MPJ, Nick Claxton, and Jaden Ivey. You might have to throw in some picks in there.
Wait. Why did the Nets get rid of Claxton?
Because the Warriors need a big man.
We need size. Yes.
Yeah, the Warriors need a big man.
Why would the Nets do that?
They're tanking. They're tanking. Now, if they were smart, they're tanking. They're trying to get a good pick. Also, with this whole Giannis news, right? They have a lot of cap space. They're projected to have a lot of cap space in the summer. So if they were smart, they could be like, hey, the Knicks, they may be able to pay you, may not be able to pay you. They got to give up a lot, but we could snatch you. We don't care. We can give future picks and whatnot, and still have money where, it kind of opens up things a little bit. Plus, you probably have to flip, Jimmy again in that. You can make it work. Yeah, the Nets are tanking. The Warriors, they need something. Kuminga kind of wants out. The Pistons need something. Yeah, I was thinking about, MPJ to the Pistons, but then I was like, Tobias is going to have to be included in it for the money to work. So, money wise too, that's why I went the Kuminga route instead of the MPJ route right there.
I got one problem with your trade.
What's up?
Kuminga, he can't shoot. He's just another Ron Holland. He's better than Ron Holland. He's better than Ron Holland, of course. He's a better scorer. But we need 3-point shooting.
True. Well, I mean, my other trade was, you mentioned Malik Monk. I can see a Malik Monk for Karis LeVert and Jaden Ivey, both of those. Because I don't think that Tobias has been in the rumors for the Pistons, but I think especially after his performance the other night against the Celtics and him stepping up when it was needed, and he brings that vet presence and kind of is part of the whole 2 years of, changing the vibes and the culture and all that, I don't think they want to get rid of him, especially when they're top of the East. Now, if this was last year, right? This was year 2 of this, and they were 5-6 flirting in the playoffs, play-in line. I think then they'd be more lenient to, okay, we need to make a big splash. Let's trade Tobias, maybe go get, Jaren Jackson Jr. or somebody like that. But I just feel like, I just feel that they're not going to trade Tobias Harris. I feel like, yes, we know he's on that expiring deal and things like that, but I just think that with them being, top of the East, all this, the culture, the vibes are great. I don't think they're going to want to mess that up. Saying that, I hope the Pistons do not fall into the same trap that other Detroit teams have the last couple of years, right? The Lions, the Tigers, of, having this young core and being so good and oh, yeah, we're not going to make a move. I hope that doesn't happen. But, at the same time, I understand that, okay, if they don't make a big splash now, then possibly it could come, in the summer or something like that. But they do need, like you said, shooting. And somewhat. And I know Kuminga isn't the best shooter, but I think given a chance, I think he could possibly fill that role. The way Duncan's been hooping recently, I can't lie, he's been great. Dennis Jenkins, you might have a couple nights where he gives you 3 threes. And then, you got Ron possibly, giving you 10, 15. And then you got to think about, Javonte Green, the Paul Reed experience, so it's a lot of, a lot of good things going on in Detroit, which is why I don't think they're going to go for a big splash like a Jaren Jackson Jr. win. Yeah, on paper it looks cool, but you got to think about it, vibes and culture that they got going on right now. You don't want to bring in a guy like that and it kind of, takes away from everything that you built on. You know what I'm saying? So
you're not messing with the Michigan State boy? You're not messing with Jaren?
No, I like Jaren. But it's I think in middle of the season, the thing with the trade deadline is I feel like teams, the Warriors last year are a great example of it. You go get somebody that you need and that's going to help you improve, right? That Jimmy trade helped them improve. They was looking like, a threat, okay? And it's I feel like at the trade, that's what the trade deadline is for. You got to try to make a move. All these little moves, like the Trae Young move, CJ McCollum, like Grant said last week, that's not going to do anything for either team in probably the next 5 years. I'm just be honest. It's not going to do nothing now or in the next 5 years. So I just feel like the trade deadline, you make moves that is going to help you this season and maybe the next season, right? The off season is for, long term or whatnot. But I just Jaren Jackson would be a nice piece. And I think he would complement Cade and Durant and all those guys. But I don't think it's a move that needs to be right now. I think, if the Grizzlies sell this summer and say, if Ja doesn't go at the trade deadline, if they wait till the summer to trade him, then I'm like, okay, then go get Jaren Jackson Jr. Give whatever you got to give, then go get him. Especially if we don't win it this year. We could, but, I mean, you got OKC and Denver, and I just don't think the Pistons have enough to compete, but to beat in a 7-game series, I just don't think so.
I respect it.
Yeah. But yeah, y'all, anybody else got another trade scenario or anything like that? Grant, you got any more hypotheticals?
I mean, I got a lot. I think the Nets now should go after. It sounds like they should go after that combo. And Giannis, they got money. You said. I mean, shoot, you
Why
got
you
me
want
convinced
him to
now.
leave?
I don't think he's gonna get it done. I mean, unless the Timberwolves obviously move on from Rudy Gobert, you gotta get another. I like the big man combination with them. It's just who you're gonna get right now. I don't see.
That's fair.
I think, and just and again, nothing against Ant. I think Ant's fantastic player. I just don't think the organization right now is helping them too much. It's kind of not like as bad as like the Cavs were doing Brown back in like 03 to 2010. I mean, that was terrible, but like I just like he's not getting any help, and at some point it's like, okay, I want to go somewhere else, because he's good, and I think we all want to see him compete more in the playoffs as well, in particular. Right now, and again, I'm also very anti Rudy Gobert, because I think in the playoff time, teams are much more, you can exploit them so much more in a 7-game series. It's the tiniest little details, and I just think the Timberwolves are just too easy to crack, to be honest, and teams are also just too good right now.
We'll say that, well, I already kind of, mentioned about the Celtics, but I will say that I am starting to get a little worried as a Detroit Pistons fan. The Boston Celtics are a Jason Tatum away from making to the finals. That's not even a hot take or anything. It's reality. Like, the way that they're playing and still winning games with Jaylen Brown, and shout out Joe Mazzulla, they're a Jason Tatum away from getting back to where they were 2 years ago with a weaker roster, by the way, too, which is crazy. So,
yeah, that'll be good. I'm curious to see how that goes in the playoffs there. I think because as it stands right now, Cavs being the 7th seed, could you imagine if it's Celtics Cavs first round? I mean, that'd be interesting there. Cavs, Cavs are a better team than the 7th seed, obviously. I think they'll. Are they? I mean, true. We got one right here. Guy. I know we got one right here. Shoot, I personally think that. I think just if you're just looking at talent wise, like yeah, I think so, but I don't know.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. I'm not a believer in the Knicks. I'm not a believer.
I second that.
Yeah, I think they could be. If they get Philly, they get Orlando. They could be a first round. They can get out of here first round.
Magic or sneaky. Cards, right? If it's the Magic, I like that matchup a lot.
They can get out of here. Yeah. I don't know. They're trying to put the blame on Cat. They've been trying to make Cat the scapegoat over the last couple of weeks, and why they not like clicking how they supposed to. I think the new coach. I don't know. I think decision. They're gettable. They're gettable, bro. They're very reliable to lose before getting to the heights that they're supposed to reach. And it's gonna be disappointing for all the New York fans out there.
Zach Smith. Zach Smith.
Man, I think you pulled it a couple weeks ago too. Like after the NBA Cup, you said that you look they kind of satisfied and everything like that. And since the NBA Cup, like since they won it, they've been on a downward trend. I think they've won like 2 games since then. Yeah, I definitely think I don't know what they do. I said it before the season that Mike Brown, it might look like a great hire. It might work out in the first season, but after that, they're gonna realize that it's not good because it's the same track record everywhere he goes. You look at Cleveland, you look at Golden State, look at Sacramento. It just happens. This year, it's been a little bit unfortunate for him in the first year, but yeah, they're tied with the Raptors right now with the same record. And the Sixers are only a half a game. I can definitely see them losing to the Raptors, the Sixers, the Magic. The Cavs, they'll probably beat the Cavs just because Jared Allen don't show up when the lights are bright. Darius Garland probably going to end up with some injury. Donovan Mitchell going to give you 50, but then who else going to give you the other 50?
That's true. I think they trade at least one of them by the deadline. They have to. I
don't think they do.
Have to. They're not good enough. They know they're not good enough. They got to do something. They thought Lonzo was going to be the answer. I thought that was a great signing when it happened. Lonzo ain't been on Nathaniel. Lonzo ain't been on nothing, unfortunately.
Well, part of the thing has been they've been blaming it on injuries. Their shooters like Sam Merrill and Dean Wade and have been hurt. DeAndre Hunter they made that big splash at the trade deadline last year and he's been nothing. Yeah, he hasn't done anything. And I can't say I'm surprised by it, but like Evan Mobley, I think I don't know if it's a Jared Allen thing or if it's just him, but he looks like he's peaked. Like he looks like that's where he gonna be. Like he can't get any higher. And we've been waiting for it for the last couple years, but it just looks like that's what I said. I don't know if it's maybe they got to move Jared Allen, like y'all suggested earlier, but it just right now it looks like he's just gonna give you 17 and 8. He looks like Bam Adebayo. Bam Adebayo should be giving you 25 and 10 every night, but this man's giving you 15 and 6. That's kind of what Evan Mobley is. That's what I kind of see him as. Like the Bam Adebayo, just a little bit taller, a little bit skinnier. But
I think it's the space. I think it's because he's a good shooter. He can shoot, but he's not I think with more space with Jared Allen and gone, I think he'll be a perennial all-star, especially in the East because they don't really have much, if we're being honest. And then to the GMs, if we're blaming us being a play-in team almost from going to the number 1 seed on injuries to Dean Wade and Sam Merrill, we have to look ourselves in the mirror. DG's been injured for sure, but DG, that's a common recurring theme. He's always injured at this point. So I feel like they have to make a move. If they don't make a move, that'll really shock me, and I would be disappointed as a Cavs fan because you know me, I like the Cavs. I'm a Donovan Mitchell fan first and foremost. So we'll see.
Nah, well, have fun. All I gotta say is have fun with your first round exit. First and second round exit. It's gonna look nice.
It's gonna look fun. You feel me? Donovan Mitchell dropping 45, losing close games.
Yep. It's happened. Honestly, like, he has to know at this point that, like, every year it happens, and he comes to the podium after that game 6 or 7. It's like, yeah, well, we got to do better. It's like, no, you don't have to do better. It's your teammates that have to do better, man, because you going out there and hooping, but it's your teammates just says forget. And it's like, he's got a big man. The big man just don't show up. The same thing happened with Rudy Gobert. They just don't show up. Everybody else, you'll get one guy here, that might show up. You got a couple Mike Conley games, a couple Joe Ingles games. There's with the Cavs, you get a couple DG games or, Sam Merrill or something like that. But other than that, nobody show up. So, yeah, I don't got nothing against the Cavs, but it's just like they're a team that everybody's like, yeah, they're a championship contender, or yeah, they should have a deep playoff run. And it's like, no. It's the same thing every year, and until they fix that roster, like you said, until they make a trade or do something, I'm going to come on here and say the same exact thing. The Cavs are frauds. And, everybody was like the first seed last year, like, oh, they looking special, but nah, you lost to the Pacers 4-1, man. Come on.
Everybody lost to the Pacers.
I mean, that's true. That's true. That's true. They finna get Darren Peterson, which is the crazy part. The Pacers, Grant, you said the Spurs is next dynasty. The Pacers are looking like they're coming up right
there.
You
think they get Darren? If they get number 1, that's going to be nuts. I ain't going to lie. Because they got AJ or Darren. Either or. The league in trouble. They don't got a C right now, though. They don't got a Miles. J Huff, he's not Myers. He's good. He's okay. He's serviceable. He's not Myers.
True. They'll get somebody in free agency. But once you got Tyrese, either Darren Peterson or AJ, Nembhard, Siakam, and then whoever that center is, I mean,
they're gonna be nice.
That's a solid team right there. That's a very nice team. Solid.
Yes, sir.
Always good.
Did y'all talk about the starters? By the way, did I miss the episode?
It was the last one.
Yeah.
We gave our all-star starters, but I guess we didn't do it since they announced it because they just did it on Monday. We can do that real quick. I'm not surprised. The only one, I mean, you could say Ant and Wemby. That's been a debate, but I mean, other than that. Right now, it's looking like Team USA is going to get cooked because they don't got no big men. So
they don't. But I think who makes it? What American big man makes it? I can't even.
Joel Embiid looks like.
Duren?
I mean, yeah, Duren, yeah.
Evan? I don't think Evan makes it this year. Does Evan make it this year? I don't think he makes it this year.
Probably not.
Yeah, we don't got nobody.
Or
it's going to be Cat.
It's going to be Cat and Duren?
Yeah, I'll leave.
They're going to get hammered.
Yeah.
Not great. Not great.
They got Giannis, Jokic, and Wemby.
Yeah, we're so cooked. It's over. Wrap it up.
Yeah, it's wraps. And, and they got Sengun. Is Sengun going to get in there? For sure. So, that's, it's wraps. They can put a lineup out there, Giannis, Wemby, Sengun.
And Yoke.
Yeah, we got no
Yoke and Luka. That's curtains right there.
Gosh.
Oh my gosh. That's
they can't. Yeah, that's a crazy lineup.
Might be one of the better lineups of all time, right there. That's actually insane.
That's a crazy lineup. How do you score on that lineup? They're just long too.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, defense is off the charts.
So not many people will be playing defense other than Wemby, but I mean, yeah, that's a.
I ain't gonna lie though. I think they might this year. I think the young dude's gonna play hard. I don't think like Bron and like KD might if he start getting cooked because I know KD got basketball pride. But I think like the Victors, the Tyrese Maxeys of the world, the Cades of the world, I think they might play a little bit harder than normal. Jalen Browns of the world, because they're just ultra competitive. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I hope so. I mean, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I hope bring it back. I mean, it was so much better when they actually were playing real defense. It wasn't like just fun to see the best guys and like right now in the game like actually play, not just. I mean, whatever it is
For
now,
fun.
like it's not even fun to watch. Honestly, half the time.
That's true. Because I'm not even excited about the dunk contest or
I mean,
3-point contest.
they can shoot from like basically half court. That's cool, but like I actually want to see them play.
Yeah, sure. I agree. Shout out Steph, though.
Shout out Steph.
We made it. They didn't want us to make it, but we made it. We always gonna get them votes. A lot of people saying Ant should have made it over Steph, which is I wouldn't be mad, but I'd be mad as a Steph fan.
I mean, Steph's averaging almost 30. You gotta
Ant's
give it to
averaging
him.
30 though.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true.
And they're better, like so far better. The Timberwolves are so much better than Warriors. But fan voted, bro. Steph Curry. Let's be realistic.
Bro, come on.
Hey, as long as LeBron don't make it in, I'm happy.
He's making
happy man.
He's making it. No, he's a reserve. He's gonna come on, bro. It's Bron. It's Bron. He might not have played up to the standard to be a reserve, but he's gonna be in there off the strength of Bron.
Honorary All-Star. Yeah.
He ain't no honorary All-Star.
Fuck it, go ahead.
I don't think you can have. Can you have the All-Star game without Bron?
Yeah, I don't even
I
know.
don't think so. It's not possible.
As long as you got Steph and KD in there, you cool. You don't gotta have Bron.
You missing the big three. Yeah, you can't miss the big three.
Yeah,
Bron wasn't in it last year. Bron wasn't in it last year though.
Well, that's different.
He didn't play.
Come on now.
It's the same thing. He just gonna do the same thing. He said in an interview the other day. He said, "If I make it, I'll make it. If not, I know what I'm gonna do." Yeah, he know what he gonna do. Go on a little vacation, bro. You already got it planned. See, you know exactly what he doing. He know he's not going. You know.
Sure, you might be right.
Shut up, Bron. He ain't gonna. He gonna sub out. He's not gonna play in it anyway. He just gonna go in for a second sub out. So
that's what I'm saying.
No point in him being there.
He gonna get a little standing O because it's in. It's LA. He gonna get his little standing O, and then make 1-3. Everybody gonna go crazy, and then sub out real quick. Yeah. So
I feel you. That's Bron, though, bro. Remember that.
Yeah.
I'm not even. You know me. I'm not even a Bron guy.
He was the one who had Kawhi and Harden on his list to reserve. So
and Kawhi looking like he getting
Yeah,
in.
bro.
No, Kawhi is gonna get in. Harden's Harden's not getting in.
Harden's not gonna get in, but Kawhi getting in.
Yeah, Kawhi probably get in. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but Harden not gonna get in. That's fine. I'm fine with that. Somebody had to. Somebody had to be there for the Clippers because they hosted it. That's gonna be his last hurrah before they come out with this investigation and lock bro up. Before you gotta medically retire or something like that. I don't know. It was a coincidence.
Remember that Clippers thing? You said they're going to be top. They're bad. They
didn't bounce back. They bounced back, but now Kawhi out. So it's either this is what we deal with as Clippers fans. Kawhi goes on this cool run. Now he's out. We'll figure out if he comes back or not. He might be a month or two. Who knows? But he'll come back for playoffs. He'll play one game, and then he'll have some serious injury, and they'll be like, no, he's just day to day. Then
you think you're making the playoffs? You think you're making the playoffs?
Yeah, I think so.
Clippers are not making the playoffs, bro.
I'm sorry, play in.
Thank you.
Not the playoffs. Play in.
Thank you. No, they're definitely making the play in. I'm making the playoff.
I mean, hey,
bro. Devin.
We'll see. We'll see.
Number one.
Who wants to show up to play?
Not Harden.
Probably not Kawhi either.
Man, not Kawhi.
Yeah, he's day to day.
You never know.
I was say Kawhi.
Yeah, if he plays.
Yeah,
if he plays.
Sure. We all know about the whole, if he plays or whatnot. We know it's something we've seen over the last 8 some years. It's questionable. Even when they say he's healthy, he's still questionable.
Which is crazy. He wears the AD. Damn near.
No.
Damn near.
AD is himself. AD is himself. That man has been on the Mavs for almost. We about to give you a full calendar year. He's had like 18, 19 injuries already. That's mind-boggling, bro. That's basically every 5 games that you play, you getting hurt. And how does that happen? And then out for multiple weeks. I still don't understand how he's out for 6 weeks with that little injury that happened. All he did was look like he popped his thumb or something. Like, man, if you don't pop it back in place and get out there, like, if it was me, I'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm not gonna sit here and just, be like that. Hey, at least I can at least score 10. I can give you 10. That's it. Shoot. Now, Anthony Davis and Kawhi, I know there's a lot of parallels, but they are in 2 different classes. They're in 2 different classes. Anthony Davis, you know he's hurt. You know he's gonna get hurt. Kawhi, you know he's gonna get hurt. It's just a matter of fact of, are we gonna see him play or not?
That's true. You know AD not playing?
Yeah, exactly. AD either playing or not playing. Kawhi, you never know. He either playing, maybe he playing.
He might come in second quarter.
Exactly. I'll never forget a couple years ago. Kawhi, he played the first quarter. Then all of a sudden he left, and they talking about on the broadcast. Yeah, he's out for the rest of the game. He didn't left the arena. I said, what do you mean he didn't left the arena? He just clocked out in the middle of the game. He just was like, I'm done today. Like, what?
Dude,
I didn't even do that. I was like,
that's your favorite player.
No, my favorite player is K, but for sure, Kawhi definitely up there.
You had a Kawhi jersey hanging up. I remember.
Kawhi,
trust me, I live with you.
You got off of him too early though, bro. You got to stick with him until they retire. You got Kawhi and Paul George for
Yeah, you gotta hold that. You gotta hold that one, Sean.
PG doing his thing in Philly. Being the whatever he doing. 5th, 6th option over there, and Kawhi doing his thing in LA. Planting trees or whatnot. And hooping. On his off days. So I still root for him. But I didn't. The new blood a little bit. K been on him since he came in the league. So I just
I respect it.
Yeah, I like his game. But no, it's a lot of different dudes. That, I mean, like Kyrie. Like when he was in high school days, like Kyrie was a bucket. I really liked Kyrie. But then he had his whole tandem in Boston where he was throwing incense and stuff. And, then he had Brooklyn where he just decided he wasn't gonna show up because he didn't want to get a shot. And which respect to him. And then now then he went to Dallas, and now he's hurt. So
he made it to the finals though.
He went to the finals. He went to the finals for sure. You got to blame his teammate Luka Doncic and not playing any defense.
I ain't gonna lie, he can't blame him. He got put in a box in the finals. Oh my goodness, he was in a box that finals.
That's because he got locked up. I mean,
yeah, he was in a box. Oh my goodness, he hates the Celtics. Celtics be having him hemmed up.
I mean, you got Jaylen Brown, Andrew Holiday. It's bound to happen. Oh, I mean,
that's true.
True. Yeah, they had that man locked up, bro. But yeah. But yeah, no. I mean, other than that, it's been a good season. It's been a solid season. A lot of interesting things that have gone around. I'm just glad that like you said, the Clippers are bad, but at least the Pistons are good. They've never been bad on the same time. It's usually the Pistons that are bad and the Clippers good. But I guess this year, 2025, 26, it said he was going to reverse it a little bit. Which is fine. I get to, last year was the first year since I've been a Clippers fan that both teams have been in the playoffs. This year it could possibly happen, but probably not. So it just, we'll see what ends up happening. But now I like what's transpired this season for sure.
Yeah. Much respect.
Oh no, you good. We was just wrapping up. I was just going on my little Clippers run right there.
Another one?
Nah. I mean, I don't really have another one. I mean, they didn't turn it around. We'll see what ends up happening. Like I said, I've learned my lesson now that whatever happens in the regular season for the Clippers does not matter come playoffs because, like last year, the last couple years, they've been good at the end of the season, leading up to the playoffs, and then playoffs, you get 4-1 by Phoenix. You get, lose to Denver. And now this year, we're going to lose the play-in against Portland. So it's like, It happens. I'm used to it. I'm used to it at this point. But at least that's what I say. At least I got the Pistons now. Pistons they gonna do good. Hopefully I got a really hot take, but I'm waiting until the moment where I can have my points to back it up. for the Pistons. But hopefully it comes before the All-Star break, which I think it will. So you just gotta wait and see until that one. But
I'll
I'm
be
very
tuned in.
Oh,
All right.
I gotta see what this is.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, man. That's all we got for today. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure like and subscribe, and if you got any I guess comments or hot takes yourselves, make sure to leave them in the comments below, and we can discuss that. But until then, we'll catch you guys next time.